You're not putting that filament in the oven again, are you?
Hello there. In today's video, we're going to talk about why it's important to dry your filament and what effects moisture has on your final prints. I'm also going to be reviewing EIBOS Polyphemus dryer box that was kindly sent to me by EIBOS. I will be testing this device and showcasing the results later in the video. Some users, like this person on Reddit, have found that their filament is not printing to their liking. You can see this tower that includes different temperatures that they try to benchmark to see what would work for them. But here's the problem. Most likely, they didn't dry their filament. This is also backed up by the #1 comment on the thread. What you've just seen is a result of moisture being trapped inside the filament. Let's ask this question. How does moisture get trapped in your filament? Different types of material will absorb moisture quicker than others. It has everything to do with their molecular composition and how they react with water. Overall consensus from the research gathered, 50% or below humidity is what you should be aiming for when storing most of your filament. TPU, PETG, PVA, nylon could go as low as 20% when storing your filament to get better results when printing. So what type of problems do you usually see when dealing with filament that has moisture trapped? When your nozzle begins heating up during printing, you will hear the sound of popping or hissing. That is because of the water that is trapped inside the filament begins to bubble up and pop. This sort of action deforms the filament itself, which you will notice throughout your print. You will develop stringing, and your first layers might not adhere properly. If you're having troubles with stringing, poor layer adhesion, brittleness, have artifacts on your prints, you may need to find means of drying your filament. EIBOS has sent me this dryer to make an honest review, and I intend to do so. So far, the packaging gets a rating of 4 out of 5, as I found the protective foam used is very lightweight. I believe it's a polyethylene foam. A better solution would have been to use EVA foam, which is more flexible and shock absorbent. I did like how everything was packaged up neatly, so that's where they redeemed themselves. The instructions provided were easy to understand, as most of the steps involved were displayed as pictures. Being able to assemble a product with clear instructions is truly important to an end user. For now, you're going to watch me assemble this unit. There are a few things I'd like to address for those who do decide to purchase this unit. Be careful when fastening the screws provided against the acrylic sheets. Acrylic on its own is very brittle. If you over-tighten the screws, you may risk cracking the acrylic. I dealt with acrylic personally outside 3D printing, so I know how delicate it can be. Just don't overdo it, but then at the same time, make sure that the sheets are properly installed with no visible gaps between the frames. I'm even planning on adding silicone around the edging to ensure no air can get in during the period when the dryer is not in use. What I don't show in this assembly is that EIBOS Polyphemus dryer box can actually store 3 kg filament spools. Just letting you know. Let me know down in the comments if you experienced any problems with humidity or wet filament, and how did you manage to mitigate the problem. If you like this video so far, please consider subscribing to the channel, as I'll be making similar videos in the future. If you'd like to purchase this particular dryer, I will leave the link in the description and the comment section. These silicone plugs are meant to seal off filament outlets when the dryer is not in use to prevent excessive moisture from entering. What I like about this design so far is the ability to store your desiccant bags as shown in this part of the video. I really like the design. I'll give it 5 out of 5 for this category. Now, I'm going to be testing performance and functionality of this dryer. We're going to start off by connecting the device to 120 volt source since I'm in North America. The filament that I have in my collection that is most susceptible to moisture problems is TPU 95. From past prints, I found that even out of the package, this type of filament suffers from stringing. Based on the recommended settings found in the instruction manual, I need to dry this filament for 4 hours at 60 degrees Celsius. One feature that I like from this filament dryer that I see not a lot of companies include in their design is the ability to rotate the filament during the drying process. When dealing with TPU 95, you have to avoid using the AMS and instead use the external spool holder provided if you're using Bambu Lab A1. The reason for it is because TPU is pretty flexible and can easily tangle up inside your AMS system. Bambu Labs just recently released TPU that actually works with the AMS system. It's one of their newer filaments. Alright, let the printing begin. It's doing not bad. It's only the first layer that was struggling a bit. Currently there is no stringing that I'm seeing, so I think we're heading towards the right direction. Okay, let's inspect the print. From what I'm seeing so far, there's a substantial amount of stringing. Kind of disappointing. Now I'm not going to jump to any conclusions yet. I will do a second test to see if the results will be any different. Credit for this model can be found in the description. I ended up not using this model as it doesn't have a snug feel to it. I'm sure with few adjustments it would work on my phone, but that is not on my priority list right now. Alright, so one thing I am confused about is why the recommended drying time for TPU is only 4 hours at 60 degrees Celsius by EIBOS, when companies like Bambu Labs recommend drying time of 8 hours at 70 degrees Celsius, and even Polymaker on their dryers have a drying time of 12 hours. I'll make the assumption is that EIBOS has designed their Polyphemus dryer box efficiently enough not to require prolonged drying time. I did see that the humidity levels within the chamber went down quite fast, so it could definitely be that their recommended settings are what they intended them to be. But just to see if I'll get any better results by following Bambu Lab's suggested drying time of 8 hours at 70 degrees Celsius, I shall run a second test. Alright, this time I was feeding the filament from within the box as it was continuously drying, and as you can see there's still stringing. One thing you have to understand is that the type of slice settings you choose can also impact your final print results. You have to consider your retraction and speed settings, your nozzle temperature. Higher temperatures can cause oozing. Have the fan working at higher settings to cool down the filament quicker to prevent stringing. Flow rate should also be considered, as over-extrusion can cause stringing. Do these results mean that the dryer didn't perform as it should have? No, it worked as intended. It achieved the temperature settings and relative humidity went down as low as 10%. So I am thinking that the print results you're seeing is a result of my settings that I've chosen to print this TPU in. TPU was one of more hygroscopic filaments, so I did kind of set myself for failure, but I was hoping for a miracle. Final result, 4 out of 5. I believe this dryer did the job it was supposed to. The only squabble I have is the packaging it came in, and potentially too good to believe recommended settings. But what's great about this unit is that you can choose your own settings when drying all sorts of filament, so at the end of the day, you are in control of this filament dryer. I thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.